Outback Truckers, Mark Cromwell is under heavyweight pressure.
How the does he not get me?
Chasing the clock.
We have to be off the road at 4.
On a $2 million mega move.
What was that?
That's it, girls. Go up.
Cattle trucker Belinda
Yep.
is in a mess of trouble
Hopefully don't get covered in
as her high-maintenance herd face the force of nature.
I can't see.
What the hell's that?
And Turbo's overheating
My head's now spinning.
and overloading,
I'm over the day.
fighting to save his freight
That's not good.
from mass destruction.
Oh, God. Just to get a dead straight line.
In Adelaide, South Australia, heavy haulage expert Mark Cromwell knows a thing or two about pressure.
Hero or zero, that's how it works out. If you get there, you're a hero. If you don't, then everyone's pointing the finger at you.
The 43-year-old specialises in hauling massive freight with massive price tags to places beyond the reach of most normal trucks. But over the next 48 hours, Mark faces a whole new level of pressure.
We are under a very strict timeline to get this in and out and off.
He's about to move a giant 48-tonne electrical switch room
We build them, load them, deliver them.
across 2 states and through the heart of 2 of Australia's biggest cities.
Big load, it's got very sensitive stuff inside, so
You don't want this thing bouncing on the truck.
The slightest problem moving it could ruin months of planning and cost tens of thousands of dollars.
Go over another 10 mil.
The $2 million building is needed to help run Melbourne's historic tram network.
If it goes right, it's pat on the back. If it ever goes wrong, then they just cop a lot of shit.
It's a monumental challenge, even for the best.
If you start seeing me run, you know something's going wrong.
Starting in Adelaide, Mark's epic mission will take him through South Australia and Victoria on the 730-kilometre run into the heart of Melbourne. Before Mark can make the trip,
Going to the shoe shop. Get some new shoes.
he needs to be sure his truck's ready for the challenge. A new set of tyres will set him back a cool $8,000. With a tight schedule, he's keen to get the job done quickly.
Now, shoes up, all your loading time. We got to cross all the way back across town.
On a time-critical job, Mark can't afford any delays. The loading yard, where Mark's monster freight lies. The 48-tonne electrical switch room has been built as 2 separate units.
This is basically one building, but we've had to split it up to get it to fit in to the site that it's going to.
Mark will move the 5-metre wide main building, while second driver Brad hauls the other. The drivers are ready to load, but in the second unit, there's a problem. An air conditioner is still being installed.
We've only had yesterday and today to fit it, and then you've got to rewire it, then commission it, make sure it all works.
While the race is on to install the aircon, Mark must grapple with his own headache. Getting the 34-tonne main building onto his 48-wheel trailer.
Yeah, we're going to get under there nice and square. Truck drivers have OCD tendencies, and if it's not square, it does your head in as you're driving down the road.
His main worry, the 8 hydraulic jacks supporting the switch room. Hit one of these, and millions of dollars and months of work could come crashing down. And the margin for error?
They're only about 3.6 metres apart and the trailer's 3.4 metres. So we've only got about 100 mil either side.
With just centimetres to spare, the massive job's barely started. One slip now, and Mark and Brad will be finished.
Oh dear, straighten up now. You just don't want to hit the jack.
We're going to miss that, aren't we? What was that?
It's high summer in the wildlands of Australia's tropical northeast. Truckers who dare head up here face an ordeal of heat, dirt and dust.
Because here, on dirt, you've literally gone to hell on earth.
For the last 2 days, 47-year-old Turbo has been fighting a running battle in this land of trucking torment.
It's hot, it's rough, and my truck's falling to pieces.
He's just delivered $200,000 worth of mining vehicles.
That's now another customer happy. Another delivery well done.
Now he faces a long, hard road home to Brisbane with an empty truck. And in this game, the bottom line is simple. No load means no money.
Every time that wheel doesn't turn, it costs a couple $1,000.
He's desperate to find a load out of the small, remote town of Weipa to pay his $2,000 fuel bill home.
It's going to cost a fortune to run home empty.
But time's against him. Other trucking jobs are lined up at home. If Turbo's late back, he could lose them and thousands more dollars.
I've got 6 trailer loads from Brisbane to Melbourne that I've got to do.
Turbo's journey began in Gladstone, Queensland, heading up through the Cape York Peninsula to the port of Weipa on the tip of Australia's far north. To get here, Turbo's faced some of the most arid, chewed-up dirt highways in Australia, capable of reducing rigs to ruins.
Getting your load and your rig there in one piece really tests the driver.
Now he faces them all over again, with no load to soften the blow. But from out of nowhere comes good news.
Oh yeah, I got it, I still got the touch.
He's landed a lucrative job. 2 large mobile huts bound for a mine 1,800 kilometres away. Each fragile hut is worth $100,000. They must survive some of the roughest roads in the country.
Go north.
But it's not just the dirt Turbo will have to contend with. This remote tropical frontier is just 1,400 kilometres from the equator.
Stinking hot. It's a wet heat, but you sweat out. Yeah, right on the fence.
With temperatures passing 40 degrees,
Clear.
the 130-kilo trucker must wrestle a 20-ton building onto his truck.
Happy with that, mate?
One hut's on. But suddenly, something's wrong. Turbo's in trouble.
My head's now spinning. I'm just about ready to pass out because of the heat.
In the brutal conditions, his body's overheating. He's at risk of getting heat stroke. Left untreated, it can be fatal.
I'm just trying to cool the body, get the body to regulate the temperature again and cool the temperature right off, but it's just...
If he can't cool down quickly, the only loading Turbo will be doing is into an ambulance.
I'll just get up there.
25-year-old Belinda Reel is a natural-born trucker.
Yep.
She's tough. Loves her load
We're going to load these cattle early to keep them cool.
and her rig.
Men won't get in here because she won't perform for them.
As a third-generation livestock trucker, Belinda knows there's no joking when it comes to the job.
I've got probably over 70 tonne on here behind me now that I'm in charge of right here behind this wheel.
Unstable and unpredictable, livestock are one of the most dangerous loads a trucker can carry.
We ain't just got little cattle on, we've got some big cattle on here.
Belinda's responsible for dozens of lives.
I can feel something's not right back there.
In a rig the weight of a tank. Keeping her truck steady is critical. Rollovers are a constant threat.
I've got weight on the top and it only takes that bit on top that can pull you. So it could end nasty.
Belinda's part of a rare breed.
It's going to be hot.
In Australia, barely a handful of women haul livestock.
Making sure all the pins are in and lines are all hooked up to go.
From the start, it's been a road to remember.
The first time I ever drove was quite scary, especially passing an oversized, and I just froze on the spot. It was like, what?
From the small town of Springsure, Belinda's about to head through the rural heart of Queensland to the outskirts of Brisbane. She has just 12 hours to deliver 80 head of cattle to a market 800 kilometres away, on dirt, winding back roads and down a mountain. It's a beast of a challenge. And with heavy rain forecast, one slip could cost Belinda her load.
Bit of water around.
And her life. At a cattle farm, Belinda arrives to load her double road train. It's a dangerous time.
That's it, girls, go up!
If any of the 600 kilo plus animals get spooked, they could panic and charge,
Push up that road!
putting theirs and Belinda's life at risk.
Hey, boys, hey! Down. Sometimes you can get them ones that realise, no, I'm not doing this, and try to come back out.
Right on cue,
Get in there!
one passenger's having second thoughts. Belinda's in luck. The runaway's quickly back on board, but it's refusing to go into its pen. She's got no option but to get in close. It's one trucker versus half a ton of trouble. With 70 tons of cattle loaded, Belinda can get underway.
I've got twice the weight behind me now as when I do when I was empty.
Travelling on a narrow dirt track with a load that's constantly moving takes huge skill.
To look after these cattle is to be prepared that there's a lot of other people on the road.
Oncoming traffic is a constant hazard.
Anything can go wrong.
Sudden moves or braking can cause a rollover. Then,
And it seems as though we've got a vehicle coming at us.
a car's heading straight for Belinda. The driver's refusing to move over.
Gonna have to get over, love.
If they don't make room, a collision could be seconds away.
What are you doing?
What was that?
In Adelaide, Mark Cromwell has hit trouble.
The front wheels touch that jack.
He and second driver Brad have hit a jack supporting a 34-ton piece of a $2 million electrical switcheroo. While it stayed upright, they'll have to start the millimetre-precise loading job from scratch.
Just start poking the back a little bit to my side.
Hit another jack and the critical job could end in disaster before it's covered even a metre.
That should be enough. Straight wheels.
Now we're looking at the back there. We're going to miss that, aren't we?
Finally,
550 on the knock.
millimetre perfect.
We're there.
One truck loaded, one to go. Mark's 9 a.m. departure time is still 14 hours away, giving him plenty of time to load the second switcheroo. Next morning, Mark and Brad are ready to load, but the second switcheroo isn't.
What have we got? Nearly 8:45 and we haven't got the other building finished just yet.
Electricians are still hard at work.
They got to label everything. There's thousands of wires in there.
Loading can't begin until they're finished. Missing his 9 a.m. deadline is a serious blow for Mark and the whole operation. But there's strict limits on when their oversized trucks are allowed on the road.
If he doesn't get out of here by 2 o'clock, he misses the curfew, because then at 3 o'clock he's not allowed in the city limits.
Miss their curfew and any chance of making Melbourne in time will be gone.
Never goes to exact plan, because you're relying on others.
With fortunes and their futures on the line, all Mark and Brad can do is wait.
It's got 2 hours. 2 hours doesn't take long to go.
In the tropical furnace of Cape York,
My head's now spinning.
Turbo's still struggling in 40-degree heat and intense humidity.
Because my head's starting to spin. That's not a good sign.
He needs to cool down quickly, or be at risk of heat stroke. But with vital freight waiting to be loaded, Turbo decides to tough it out. Push too hard now, and the whole trip could go into meltdown.
Yeah. Is it worth me going to the point of heat exhaustion? I'd do it all day, every day if I had to.
He survived the heat, and he's fully loaded. Now, Turbo faces 1,100 kilometres of diabolical dirt. All up, the massive rig weighs in at over 50 tonnes. But it isn't the weight that worries Turbo.
It is an awkward load. It's also a very fragile load.
Any damage will come out of Turbo's pocket.
I am a little nervous about braking stuff. The stakes are extremely high.
On this vital run, he can't afford to smash anything.
Something didn't sound right. Something really didn't sound right. Oh, shit. That's not good.
A dangerous driver won't make way for cattle trucker Belinda Reel.
Gonna have to get over, love.
If she swerves or jams on the brakes, she could roll her truck.
Couldn't quite see that I'm coming out of the creek up the hill, need to get the power going, and she wouldn't get over, so she should sit in the middle.
Despite the hazards, Belinda's been driving since her teens. Taught by her dad, she works for the family trucking business. Just 2% of Aussie truckers are women, but in an industry dominated by men, this trucker drives her rig her way.
Women drivers take more care in driving than the male. You know, look after it a bit better. It's just a girl thing, I think.
Belinda's truck is a 550 horsepower, 34-wheel monster, known as the Dawson Drover.
And I've been in the Dawson for 2 years. Nothing will come between me and the Dawson. Men won't get in here because she won't perform for them. So she is a girl's truck.
Like any relationship, Belinda and the Dawson have their ups
Come on, I'll be pulling it. Come on, Dawson, baby.
and downs.
What is going on? Pull it and hurry up.
But like any great team, it's all about communication.
I had to have a little talk to her and tell her this is it. You're not getting another gear, so let's do it. Oh, well done. Good work.
While the Dawson is her passion, Belinda's priority is her freight.
Steady.
Despite her 12-hour deadline, she must stop regularly to check her animals. And in the rear trailer, there's a problem.
Drains are in, so the water's causing shit in there.
A blocked drain is causing sewage to back up.
I just tried to lift that bung out at the back. Hopefully don't get covered in shit.
To release the bung, Belinda must reach inside the trailer. But there are risks.
Get me hand kicked.
A 600-kilo animal could break her arm in an instant. And Belinda's cattle are jumpy. Mark Cromwell is ticking down to a deadline he can't afford to miss.
We're still here, so doesn't help.
If he and second driver Brad aren't on the road in 3 hours' time, the job they've planned for months will stall.
Brad's running out of time. He doesn't get out of here by 2 o'clock. He misses the curfew. He'll be sitting here till 6 o'clock tonight.
It's an agonising wait for work to finish on the second part of the 48-tonne switch room.
Now it's past 1 o'clock and now the squeeze is on.
But then, a very welcome sight. The brand new building is ready.
Drop it! Yep.
That's straight.
Good to come out.
At long last, the boys can roll out on the 730-kilometre run to Melbourne. But they're 5 hours behind schedule. Any more delays could be terminal. As they roll into Adelaide, the next challenge is 3 railway crossings. In oversized rigs, Mark and Brad aren't allowed to cross them without a rail escort.
You have to be escorted through the crossings and they've got to do all the communication, just in case you get stuck on the train line.
If the escort's not at the crossing, the boys will be stranded.
You can do everything right, but people let you down.
At the first crossing, good news. Their escort vehicle's waiting.
Off we go.
1 crossing down, 2 to go. But at the next, there's a mystery delay, pushing Mark's schedule and his blood pressure.
You'd think he'd see us in the mirrors and then maybe get on the radio and then we're just about to keep everything rolling. Oh my Lord. Oh, there we go. All right, are we?
There's 1 final crossing to go. But something's missing. The escort's nowhere to be found. Mark and Brad are stuck.
Yeah, I got nowhere to get off the road.
Adding to Mark's stress, his truck's 5 metres wide. It's blocking a major road.
This is going to take forever.
And rush hour's fast approaching. After taking a pile-driving blow on Cape York dirt,
Something didn't sound right.
Turbo's checking for damage.
Oh, I lost the tap.
The violence of the road has ripped a metal tap clean off a water tank. Out here, it's a precious resource. But there's more serious trouble above. An aircon unit's taken a beating.
Yeah, that's pulled that down.
He's had a day of heat exhaustion and hard grind. Now, Turbo's looking at a damage bill worth hundreds of dollars.
I'm over this at the moment. I'm over this.
And just when he's down,
You arrogant drove through that water and sprayed water or mud all over me.
but there's yet another headache. Nightfall is looming, and at 4 metres wide, Turbo's rig is classed as oversized. He must be off the road by dark.
Oh, you f***ing thing.
His camp's still 50 kilometres away. If Turbo can't make it in time, he'll be sleeping on the roadside.
Yep, I'm over the day. I really am. I've had enough of the day.
Cattle trucker Belinda Reel is up to her elbows in trouble, clearing a blocked sewage drain. It's not safe to reach inside the trailer. Time for Plan B. Attack the blockage from below. Less chance of getting kicked, but more of things getting messy.
Hopefully don't get covered in Just let the run out of the Drain.
With the dirty work done, it's just another day in the glamorous life of a cattle trucker.
Shit. Good stuff. Dirt, good stuff. What more would you do in your job?
While Belinda's back on the road, the stop has drained not just the sewage, but an hour of precious time. With just 8 hours left to cover 600 kilometres, she's decided to take a dirt road shortcut.
There is bitumen roads around us, but we've taken this alternative. Well, I've got someone else's cattle on, but I've got a huge responsibility.
It's quicker, but riskier. If bad weather hits now, the road could become impassable in minutes.
If it rains, we're not going to get the truck out of it. It's not fun being stuck.
Get stranded with a full truck, and the delay could risk Belinda's freight and her family's business.
If we get stuck here for too long, days, they're just going to have to be jumped off.
Already 5 hours behind schedule, Mark Cromwell has been derailed.
This is going to take forever.
An escort vehicle is nowhere to be found. Without it, Mark's convoy is stranded. With over 700 kilometres to cover, the delay's eating up more of Mark's time.
Can you bring traffic control, the train people, because they're not here?
And his patience.
How the does he not get in?
Hey, he's coming up behind you now, mate.
Finally, the boys can cross. At last, they can leave the city behind and hit the open road. The slow going through Adelaide has cost 2 more precious hours. And ahead, yet another headache is looming: the Murray River Bridge. Like the railway, Mark can't cross it without an escort.
We've got to figure out what time we're going to get to Murray Bridge to cross the river, because we've got to book a copper police escort across the bridge.
Only problem, the police may not be there when he arrives.
Someone steals a car, then that gets priority, and we could just be sitting there. Then the sun goes down, then we can't go anywhere, so we're stuck.
As an oversized truck, Mark must be off the road before dark. That's 3 hours away. If there's no officer waiting, Mark will lose even more precious driving time.
Just bring him up now and book it for 6:30.
Yeah, I'll book it for 6:30.
With his schedule already stretched to breaking point, the next couple of hours could be the difference between success and failure. After spending the night on a barren roadside, Turbo's not happy.
It's not going to move.
And ahead is another hard run on the dirt.
This is bone-shattering, truck-smashing road.
It's now Turbo's 4th day on this hell of a highway. While his truck's taking a hammering, his main concern is the damage to his $200,000 fragile load.
Front trail is fine, but the back trail is playing up.
If the huts take a hit, he'll have to foot the bill.
What the hell's that?
Turbo's got more trouble. He urgently needs to check the load. The first hut's a mess. But at the second,
The one I'm worried about the most, this building. What the hell?
there's even more trouble.
Was there an air conditioning unit in that?
The whole air conditioning unit's vanished. Turbo's hoping it's fallen into the hut.
Well, that's why I can't get in.
The unit's a write-off, adding another $800 to his damage bill.
Oh, God.
Despite all his best efforts, the rough road's slowly destroying Turbo's freight.
What do you do?
Any more damage, and he'll come out of it deep in the red.
I'm just driving real steady, real slow.
With work waiting at home, he must keep moving, or he'll lose thousands more dollars. But some days, you just can't catch a break. Outback Roadworks, 2 kilometres of them. But Turbo worry. The detour is a narrow slip road, lined with trees.
Them trees are right on the edge. One of these buildings hits those trees. It's about $100,000 for it to replace the building.
That kind of damage could wreck not just Turbo's load, but his business.
Yeah, mate, listen, I'm 4'6" in height. Mate, any chance I can sort of run down the middle instead of running down that tablespoon and cleaning up all the trees? No one's giving straight answers.
The fate of his freight rests on getting clear instructions from the road crew.
Yeah, I've got no idea what they want me to do.
Belinda Reel has gambled on a dirt road shortcut.
We've just got to keep going.
But there's a worrying sight overhead.
Gets a good rain on it while we're going across here, we could be stuck on here.
Rain is bad news for any cattle trucker. On dirt, it can be a showstopper.
That's what it does look like rain up here in front of us, but anything could happen.
As she gets back on the black stuff, there's more trouble below.
Just look at it, bad piece of bitumen in the middle of the road.
The rough surface is making it tough for the cattle to keep their footing. If they fall, they risk being trampled to death.
So I can feel something's not right back there. If these cattle lie down, I'm going to have to get them up. And we ain't just got like little cattle on. We've got some big cattle on here.
Belinda's working hard to drive as smoothly as possible. But then,
There's one with its foot out the side.
an animal's in trouble. Belinda needs to stop. Any sudden movement could break the exposed limb. It's too big a risk to pull up on the winding back road.
You can't just pull up in the middle of the road anywhere. But actually find a park located safe for myself and the load.
If she can't get off the road soon, it could be too late. En route to the Murray River Bridge, Mark Cromwell's multi-million-dollar convoy faces the prospect of a delay that could break him.
If we get stuck at Murray Bridge and have to stay here tonight, because the sun goes down, we can't go anywhere, we don't reach our destination.
If a police escort isn't waiting, any chance of delivering Mark's load on time will be gone.
That's a week. We can't just then turn around and go back in there the next night.
Costing tens of thousands of dollars and ruining months of planning. The whole mission rests on the next few minutes.
We booked them for 6:30. It's just when they get there.
As Mark approaches the bridge, there's news.
Yep, they're waiting for us.
Wow. That is just fantastic. This is the first time this has ever happened that we've actually had an officer waiting for us.
With help from the boys in blue, Mark's convoy can sail over Australia's longest river. But after a day of delays, he's badly behind schedule. Tomorrow, he must get back on track. Next morning, the Victorian border is a welcome sight. But with Melbourne still 440 kilometres away, the valuable job's running out of time.
If it doesn't happen tonight, yeah, everything falls over. So that's the $50,000 job or whatever for us. But, you know, there goes my Christmas bonus.
To make things tougher, another driving curfew is looming. It's a deadline Mark can't break.
Brad, you there?
Yeah, mate.
We have to be off the road at 4 p.m.
Is that on a weekend as well?
Yeah, that's the curfew. So it's 3:32 Melbourne time. We've got about half hour to go. So centimetre perfect.
If he's not at his stop in time,
We've got 36 kilometres to go.
Mark will be stuck going nowhere for a week,
And then you can't like speed.
leaving his and his company's reputation in tatters.
We can't afford any hold-ups now.
And right on cue.
It's starting to rain now. It's going to be a bit interesting.
With just minutes to go, 50 tonnes and millions of dollars of pressure rests on Mark's shoulders.
Everyone with its foot out the side.
Belinda Reel urgently needs to stop before a cow gets hurt.
I still can't find anywhere to pull up.
Her young reputation depends on taking care of her passengers.
Don't want to kill them or anything. But actually find a park bay that's safe.
Injuries or worse are bad for her and bad for her family's business. She needs to get the cow up, and quickly.
Hey! Hey! Get up! Get down! Hey! Get down! Hey! Oh, good, gave him a little check. And everything's good.
While everyone's safe and sound, the stop's eaten up 30 more precious minutes. With 150 kilometres to go, her deadline's barely 2 hours away. And now, conditions are treacherous.
Bit of water around, could be a bit slippery.
One twitch on the brakes and Belinda could aquaplane into disaster.
I've actually had to slow down. I can't see.
She must hold her line and plough through the deluge. Until finally, the downpour has lifted. While she's through the storm, her troubles are far from over. Ahead is the Toowoomba mountain range. 6 kilometres of sheer, winding and now wet road. Used by thousands of trucks a day, it's a notorious accident black spot. In a fully loaded cattle truck, one mistake could be your last.
It's going to be slippery. Just come through the last set of lights and start preparing for the range.
As she hits the descent, Belinda needs to keep her cattle stable. Any sudden shift in weight risks rolling the truck.
I want to go down here without throwing the cattle around and bruising them. I just want to go down here, everything being cool and calm.
Controlling her speed is critical.
I don't want to have to use the brakes unless I really need to.
Belinda must use the right gear and not her right foot to keep the truck safe. The slightest error could be fatal.
Anything can go wrong down here. We play with these sort of toys, these sort of things happen. I've got to be in control of it, not to have the vehicle and the weight behind me be in control.
Metre by metre, the massive rig strains to hold on to the wet road. But at last,
I never even had to touch the brakes, which is a good thing.
Belinda's through the worst. After almost 12 hours of racing to make her deadline, she's finally on the home straight.
Gonna have to get over, love.
This tough cattle woman survived kamikaze drivers, dealt with a messy situation and taken care of business.
That's the way they should be standing.
But finally, her passengers are all good.
They're all up, so they're happy to be on my bus, which is a good thing.
And the long, hard road is all done. At Outback Roadworks, Turbo's hoping he'll be allowed to avoid a narrow detour.
Yes, mate.
Yeah, mate, that's a negative for coming up on the pavement, mate. Negative. We've got too much police on the road and negative.
With permission denied, there's no option. He'll have to take his $200,000 load onto the tight, tree-lined slip road. Hit one, and he could face a business-breaking damage bill. To protect the load, he's dropped his speed.
Now we're doing 10k an hour.
While he's keeping clear of the trees to the side, above, there's a problem.
The tree's got me hung up right in the middle of the detour. If I go into it or pull at a gate, it'll just peel the whole roof straight off of this front one.
Turbo needs an extra pair of eyes. He'll have to put his trust in the roadworks crew.
I can't see up the top. I can only assume and listen for something to go bang and pop.
After a nail-biting crawl, Turbo's made it. His next stop is 250 kilometres away in the town of Mariba, but time's against him.
Now I'm going to be off the road before dark. Because that's just the rules of road train oversized. So it's a big push.
And up ahead, more trouble.
There's a load limit on the bridge, and I'm over 42 tonne. So I'm going to go on the bypass.
But out here, a bypass is no smooth piece of bitumen. For a 50-tonne road train, it may as well be an assault course.
That's going to be hard to do, and I'm just afraid of getting bogged.
It's sharp, twisting, tight and sandy. A perfect storm for getting bogged. After 4 days of hell, Turbo's alone in wild country and running out of daylight. Get stuck now and he'll have a whole new battle to fight.